guys, Alec Peirce at the ranch again with another one of my projects. Boy, it's hot today, Kevin, huh? Whew, we cut the hay yesterday. It's hot, a little bit of a wind today. Hopefully we'll get it raked and I can bale it tomorrow. Anyway, another one of my projects here at the ranch, and you guys who live in the country will really appreciate this. If you live in the country, in the mountains or someplace where the hydro is not 100% reliable, you'll enjoy this. Now, you know the answer. Everybody says, we'll get a generator. Well, sure, that's, of course, you get a generator, and that's one thing. And so people do. They go out and they buy a $300 or $400 generator, and they put it outside the house, hopefully, with a long extension cord, which isn't good. And when the power goes out, they go out with a flashlight in the dark and the rain, and they start it up. And they come back in, they plug in a few appliances, then your wife decides to put the kettle on, pop, circuit breaker goes, generator's no good. So I just covered a lot of stuff already in there. If you do have interruptions of power on a regular basis, and we do here, where we live at the end of a gravel road, 2 miles, almost over a mile long, gravel road, dead end, nothing back here but my property, our property, Diane and myself property, bush, swamp, fields, and one line, hydro line, and that hydro line has been there for 70 years, so it's not perfect, and the hydro company doesn't want to change it because it's working. Why would they change it? So if the hydro does go out, whether it's local or it's a little bigger hydro problem, we're usually the last ones that come to. We don't get the hydro out as much as we used to 10, 15 years ago, but we still do once or twice a year. And it isn't so much the hydro goes out, everybody experiences that once in a while, but when the hydro goes out here at our ranch here in Brecken, it's usually out for 2, 3, 4 hours a day. I think that's the longest. We've had 24 hours. That's the longest. But what I'm saying is it's usually several hours. It's not a blip. So we had to have a generator, an alternate source of power. We have freezers. I have a lot of game meat in my freezers and fridges, and we need to have heat in the wintertime if it's cold. We want a couple of lights inside and so on. And, of course, the kettle, right? Anyway, so a number of years ago, I went out and shopped around and got a nice generator. And I like this particular generator. I have been looking recently to see if I can get something with a little more power, a little bit bigger, but this one is awfully nice. It's compact, works really, really well. And there's lots of generators on the market. You can get a 10,000 watt generator, a decent quality, with electric start for under $700, $800, $900 maybe. And they're really, really good. I paid a lot more for this generator. It's not that strong. So step one is to find the appropriate generator. Let me show you mine. Take the rock off. We call those wind rocks. If you don't have those, everything gets blown away. Anyway, and I had this cover made for it. And there's my generator. Now, it's very simple. You can see that it is a Coleman. You know, it's a decent name. I don't know where the products are made. I have a good idea. But anyway, it's worked pretty well for us. It's a Coleman, and it's a 5,500 watt. Not as big. There's great big ones now, and I wouldn't mind getting a little more power. One interesting thing about Coleman, unlike some of the other generators, is that if it's 5,500 watts, that's what it gives you, 5,500. A lot of the generators you'll see on the side of it, 7,500 watts starting. And then it says 6,000 watts running. Yeah, so be careful when you do that. Coleman's a little different. 5,500 watts, you get 5,500 watts. And 5,500 watts is quite a bit. You can run a lot of stuff on that. We have the water pump, which is a 1/2 horsepower motor. We have the hot water heater, which is over 3,000 watts alone, a few lights, the fridge, the freezers, they don't draw too much, and the fan for the fireplace. I'm going to talk about our great fireplace sometime. So it takes care of our bare minimum needs and all the important stuff, internet and TV, right? Anyway, so there's my generator. You notice as well, this generator is a bit different. It's a vertical. It's called a vertical. Vertex is the model name, vertical, which means that instead of being a fairly big footprint, it's actually a small footprint. It's only about 16 by 18 on the ground. But it's built this way. So the generator is in the bottom and the gasoline motor is on top. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Now, I'm going to start this in just a moment. But once you have the generator, now, and it's outside, of course, you have to get the electricity inside. And there's usually a separate cord for that. So my cord, which I keep inside with the key, is very simple. You get a cord. It looks like this. And I made mine quite long. If I decide to take this generator and put it out there, it's not noisy, but if I decided to or take it and use something else, I have a nice long cord. So one end of the cord plugs into the generator, obviously, like so. And these are locking cords. Give it a little twist, it locks in there. Now, to get the electricity inside, on the outside of the house, when I had it built, we put in this outlet. goes into the house. And now you plug the other end of the cord into there, you see? A bit of a turn to lock it, we're all set to go. It's that easy. Now we start the generator, wait for a minute, turn it on, and we now have electricity inside. It's that easy. We're going to go inside in just a minute, Kevin, and I'll show you how it's hooked up inside. It's pretty neat. Let me see what happens here now. I like to start this a couple times a year anyway, just to be sure it's actually going to start. Key in place, and choke on. Let's see what happens. All right, took a couple of seconds to get it going. The last time I ran this was in December. This is July. That's right. August, that's right. Thank you, Kevin. So this is sat here, undisturbed, for 7 months, 8 months almost, 9 months. 9 months. That's not bad, okay? What I do is got a big gas tank on it. Be sure if you do this that you put some gasoline preservative, some gasoline, there's special stuff you can buy that keeps the gasoline in good shape, potent, for a long period of time if you're not going to run it for a while. So all you need to do is check the oil, have good gas in there, it'll start. It took a few seconds there for the carburetor and so on to get going, but it runs just fine. Now you notice something else. When it started, it was running. I flick the switch and it slows right down. What the heck is that? Well, this particular generator has a nice feature on it. It's called idle. When you flick the idle on, if there's no current draw, it settles right down to a nice gentle purr. Not noisy, doesn't use much gas, still running. But as soon as there's a draw from inside the house, as soon as you turn on a light or the tea kettle or the water pump comes on, as soon as it feels electric draw inside, it speeds up automatically. It's a nice feature. Not all generators have that. But when I got this one, that sounded like a good idea, so I got that feature on there. Nice one. You also notice a green tag on here. Right, that's where I put maintenance details. Oil changed. On here I have new battery, January of 2014. Because the battery on here is like a snowmobile or motorcycle battery. It's not very big. It's okay, it's not a big engine. But how do you keep those batteries in good shape? If it just sits out here for 7 or 8 months, much less a couple of years, isn't used, isn't charged, it's going to be a problem. I used to have a trickle charger that plugged in inside, came out through the window, and kept that battery in good shape. And it worked pretty well. A couple of problems. Number one, it used electricity from the house, which I don't really want to pay for if I don't need to. Secondly, obviously, if the generator has to run for a while, it's not the trickle, because the hydro's off, the trickle charger is not working. So I went a little while ago into our local Harbor Freight or Canadian Tire, Home Depot, wherever, and I picked up one of those cheap little $20 solar chargers. Now, I'm not a big fan of those things. I've said $20, you're not going to get much of $20. And you don't get much of $20 these days. So I've never played with those things, but I now have 2 of them. If you've seen my video on the bulldozer, you know I use one on the bulldozer. For 2 years now, it's kept those very expensive bulldozer batteries in good shape. And I use one on here. See the wire going up the wall? Comes across to here and right up here. Cheap little $20 charger, faces south, gets sun most days, even in the wintertime, and trickle charges just keeps the battery for my generator in good shape. It's been up there for over 2 years. It's pure coincidence that that cheap little $20 solar charger was made by Coleman. Pure coincidence. I didn't plan that. Just happens to be the way it is. But they're not a bad idea. You wouldn't want it for a big job, but for just trickling a little battery that you only use once in a while, good idea. Walk out here 6, 7 months, put the key in, it'll start up. Okay, now we got to go inside. We got the generator running, the hydro going into the outlet on the outside of the house. Let's go inside. See the rest. See you in a minute. Okay, guys, so now we're back inside, and you can hear the Jenny running in the background. I have that idle, that special idle feature on the Jenny, so it's just purring along quietly. It's like a lawnmower that's idling. It's not very noisy at all. And we have hydro coming into the house. Now this is the other end of that cable coming from the generator. You see it comes through here. So now all you need to do, and we keep this disconnected. I don't like this wired in all the time, so I take this now and I insert it into the distribution box right here. There we go. Goes into the distribution box. Now here's where it gets interesting. And again, you can do this yourself. If you're pretty handy and a bit good with, if you can change light bulbs and fuses and circuit breakers and wire in a broken plug or something, you can probably do this. You can pay an electrician to do it too, and that's not a problem. So here's your distribution box. The hydro from outside comes into this box. Has a whole bunch of switches on it, you see, and circuit breakers and a couple of meters down here. Now, you see this big cable right there? From the distribution box, there are wires that run into your house panel. Can you see that over there, Kev? It's too far. Okay, well, this is your house panel. Your big house panel. Hydro comes in and circuit breakers, runs wires all over the house. Okay, and then all you do is you decide, okay, I want the fireplace fan to be on the generator. You decide what you want to be on the generator. So you go and you find the circuit breaker for the fireplace fan. Power off in the house, of course. You disconnect the fireplace fan and then you wire into the fireplace fan this cable from here in series. Put the breaker back in and off you go. So now, simple. Can you see right here, close here? Can you get in close here? Can you see this switch? It says generator up, off in the middle, and down is the line. Line means your hydro, your bill. Okay, so let's see if this is going to work. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, I'll show you what happens when you flick a switch. And you'll be able to see the power consumption down here in the meters. And there's two different lines coming in, this side and that side. So there's two power. The 5,500 watts is split, you see. So you'll see how the switches work. You see how the power meters show what you're drawing. And if you listen, you'll also hear the generator start up. Right now it's on idle. This is not drawing anything. Watch what happens when I flick a switch and we start to draw some hydro. This room has internet, television, room light. Kevin's plugged in. It has a central vac, and it has a bunch of little things from this room, the maintenance room. So here's what we'll do. That's this switch right here at the top. I checked this time. Sorry about that. So right now it's on hydro, on line. I'm going to put it up into the middle position. Okay? No hydro. All that stuff is getting no electricity from anywhere. Cut off. All right. So now let's see, the generator will take over. So now I put it up to the top position. Generator takes over. Listen. Pretty neat, huh? How's your lights, Kevin? Good. All right. Everything's back on. Yep. TV, internet's back on. Good. Everything's back on. That's how simple it is. Just a bit of wiring in there, but it's pretty slick. I think that's pretty slick how that works, and I love that idle thing on the generator. It can sit there and idle for an hour until you need some electricity, and it powers up. Let's try it the other way. Right now, this room and everything in it is being powered by the generator. So we'll go down, turn it off. No power at all. Okay, and now we'll put it back down to line, which is hydro, and then back on. It's that simple. Okay, I don't know if that's useful to you, but is anybody out there having electricity problems and you've been looking at generators and looking at distribution systems? Generator outside with a cord, there's the end of the cord, distribution box, house panel, da-da-ba-do. The big trick, of course, is deciding what you want to put on your generator. We got the freezers and the fridge and a few things like that. You'll have to decide that. Now everybody's going to say, well, why don't you just get one of those automatic home units? You put it outside and it starts automatically and runs your whole home. You don't have to do anything. I would do that, but we don't lose electricity often enough to justify $5,000 or $6,000. This whole system complete cost me $1,000. You could duplicate it today for about $600, $700, maybe $800. So $800, I got to plug a couple things in, or $5,000 or $6,000. We're just not out of electricity enough to justify that. That's the reason for it. If you are, go crazy. Anyway, maybe there's something in there that'd be useful to you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Alec at the ranch.